everyone, we are Team Sigma, and tonight we are going to discuss our case analysis for DSB. So before anything else, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been stuck in traffic before? Have you ever been frustrated with the public transport? Well, let me tell you, you are not alone, because in Denmark, they are also experiencing the same thing. So the thing is, in Denmark, there are a number of ways they go about commuting or traveling around the city. First, they have their own passenger cars. Second, they ride their bikes. Third, they take public transport, such as buses, taxi, cabs, and of course, your ever-reliable trains. But the thing is, in Denmark, with the number of cars that's already present in the streets, they are experiencing what we call the usual traffic congestion. There's a lot of cars already in the streets. Of course, it's cheaper for them to take cars, and it's really flexible for them to drive in the city. So, with this, the government has created the sustainable strategy, and part of the sustainable strategy plan is to actually reduce the number of, or rather to shift the commuters from passenger cars to the trains or to the public transport. So what do they actually want from this, or what is their goal? Their goal is actually to improve or to increase the number of passenger kilometers by 7.5% in 3 years and to double it by 2030. So here's a little graph that we prepared for you that shows the trend on how we're going to achieve this. So for the first year, you can see there's a relatively little growth from 2013 to 2014. Because for us, we believe that this is a year where we implement or set up the initiatives that we have to increase the passenger kilometers or increase the number of passengers. And for the last 2 years, we're going to focus on marketing and communicating clearly to the Danish population that the DSB or the trains that we have is actually reliable and will provide them the service that they deserve. So before all of that, of course, we want to see the constraints. Here are the number of constraints that we believe would hinder or be a barrier for DSB. 1, trains, a limited number of trains. 2, train tracks. You can't really modify train tracks. 3, train stations. Similar to train tracks, you can't really set up one and remove the other overnight. So this takes time. And lastly, one of their constraints is actually the reputation that they have. Because currently, people see them, or their brand for the Danish population is actually that they're always late, which is not always good, which is not good actually at all. So given the fact that we can't really do much changes for the trains, because according to our research, it actually takes 10 years for them to acquire one train. And train tracks really can't do much modification for it because it will take a lot of money, and we have to work with Bain Denmark, who actually handles that. And train stations, well, the high capital expenditure to build train stations is complicated. It would definitely change the map and the layout of the whole train system. So now, what we wanted to focus on is the bad reputation, and we want to address this. So here's Reg actually to discuss the strategy and how we're going to deal with this. Reg?
Thank you, Therese. So, what is the strategy of DSB? They want to win their confidence back from their customers. And as a result of winning back the confidence, they will be able to increase the number of passengers and increase the average kilometer per passenger. So how do we want to go about this? So currently, they have 8 customer segments. However, we want to focus on the 5 customer segments, such as the motivated non-users, the motivated medium users, motivated light users, and unmotivated light users and medium users. And the reason why we want to focus our marketing efforts on them is because they comprise 60% of the Danish population, and they will be able to generate 500,000 kilometer per passenger. So the Danes have high levels of expectations regarding their experience with using the train. There are 5 drivers for customer satisfaction. The first is punctuality and frequency. The second is traffic information. The third is comfort. The fourth is the safety and cleanliness of their stations, and the fifth is product, price, and service. However, we'll be focusing on the top three. So basically, you have to ask yourself the following question. What would make you take the train more often? To address the issue of punctuality and frequency issue, we are recommending to change the infrastructure from traditional signaling to communication-based train control. So the main objective of CBTC is to increase capacity by reducing the time interval between trains. This makes use of telecommunications between the train and track equipment for the traffic management and infrastructure control. This will also help our customers know the exact position of the train more accurately. As a result, a more efficient and safe way to manage the railway traffic.
Okay, so prior to installing the integrated communications-based train control system, the projection is that they'll be having a punctuality rate of 93% for the S trains and a punctuality rate of 97% for the FNR trains. That would lead to a percent delay of 7% for the S trains and a percent delay of 3% for the FNR trains. Well, we can actually check out the controllable factors, and that would be the internal processes within the DSB, but there are also uncontrollable factors and external factors that they can control. And if we're going to take into account the controllable factors that can be improved by the communications-based control system, we have a projected punctuality rate of 95% for the S trains and a projected punctuality rate of 98% for the FNR trains. Another recommendation of our group is to turn the stations into a centralized commercial hub. So, the customers can actually experience the enjoyment of having the privilege of being able to experience the coffee shops, great food, restaurants, and also being able to shop within the station. That will allow the customers to be able to enjoy their experiences in this station. And another recommendation is to allow the customers to have a greater work efficiency while in transit. So how do we do that? We are going to invest in Wi-Fi spots for the customers so they can improve their work efficiency by being able to access the Wi-Fi even when they're in the trains. And we will also install tables within the train stations and also in the train so that the customers who want to use their laptops can actually access and use their laptops while on the go. And another suggestion of our group is to turn the stations into transportation hubs. So it will not only be a train station, it will be also integrated with other transportation stations and modes such as bikes and bus stations. We will coordinate with the bus stations and with the bike stations so that there will be an exchange and increase in the mobility of the customers from their destinations and even to the train stations.
So in addition to that, another complicating factor that we would like to give recommendation to would be the alignment and partnership of DSB and Pay Denmark. So in particular, this is with respect to how they run the train station. So for example, DSB might own the food stands in the train station, and Pay Denmark would own the ticketing station. So even though these are two different things in the train station, they still contribute to the overall customer experience. So our recommendation would be better partnership and better communication between the two. So so that they would be able to better deliver customer experience for the passengers. So, taking into account all of the recommendations that we have and the previous discussion that we had on the goal of DSB, so right now they're at 6,246 passenger kilometer, and the target for 2016 would be 6,714. This is a difference between the two would be 468. So that's our target of 7.5 from their current position. So we break this down further into the 3 years. So for the first year, we expect 15% of that difference to be contributed, and then 40% and then 55% for the succeeding years. And then we further break that down into how will our customer segments contribute into this breakdown of ours. So as you can see here, the customer segments are categorized mainly into the users and non-users. So for the users, we would want them to be able to increase their frequency of going to the train stations. So as we recommended, that would be the reducing the delays in the train station, providing better amenities, providing better services in our train stations. So for the non-users, we want to be able to convert them into users. Specifically for the motivated non-users, these are those people that just live far from the train station. That's the primary reason that they don't avail of the train services. This is remedied by our hub and spoke recommendations, wherein we would actually link the transportation mode that they are taking, either by bus or by car, to link it to our train station so that it would be easier for them to shift and then utilize the train station for themselves. So as you can see, the start for the first year would be relatively low at 15%. This is because we are just establishing our recommendations. We would just be building the infrastructure needed. And then by 2015, we would be marketing these services. We would be telling the Danish people that DSB is no longer the old DSB. So, projecting it further, we've computed that our customer segments will actually exceed our target of 400,000 kilometer passengers per. So, it would be well above our target. So in summary, all of our recommendations are geared towards establishing a better reputation for DSB. This would result in an increase in number of passengers and would consequently lead to better ambience and better delivery of information. And as we would like, happier customers overall. Thank you.